This week's hometown hero is speaking his truth about his involvement with Air America and the secret war against the communists in Southeast Asia. Neil Hansen now calls Oshkosh home. He spoke with Local 5's Michelle McCormack about what it was like to be a shadow warrior.
Bad guys knew we were there. They knew what we were doing, but they didn't want the American public to know. And I think that's wrong.
In 1964, Air Force veteran Neil Hansen became a captain for Air America. He rescued American military and helped Hmong fighters with ammunition drops during the Vietnam War, and then flew again in the secret war in Laos.
We didn't have American numbers or registration on the airplanes. Most of them were Chinese or Laotian. So if the airplane was found someplace it wasn't supposed to be, they had plausible deniability.
It's Hansen's willingness to share all these years later that is bringing renewed recognition to the shadow warriors. The Vietnam display at the EAA Museum in Oshkosh now includes Air America.
We conducted most of the search and rescues of the guys that got shot down coming out of Hanoi and Haiphong, and they'd bail out over Laos. Well, it took the Air Force quite a long time to get permission to cross the border. Well, if it's more than an hour, you're going to be dead. So we were able to be right there and pick them up.
It almost cost him his life.
What happened? I was airdropping it at one of these sites that was harassing the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Laos. I always went in low and fast, pull up, drop, and get the hell out. That worked for me, except this last time, and they nailed me.
Hansen was rescued after finding an old World War II Japanese airstrip. Later, he learned it was an abandoned minefield. Danger never figured into his thinking.
It was fueling my adrenaline addiction, and I was addicted to adrenaline, definitely. For some people, it paralyzes them. For me, it makes your brain work 1,000,000 miles a second.
Hansen co-authored the award-winning book, Flight, which also shares his second brush with death when he returned to Southeast Asia in 1974 to help the Cambodians in their civil war with the communist Khmer Rouge.
That was a disaster waiting to happen. Cambodian people were being slaughtered by the Khmer Rouge.
He says he delivered mostly rice by air until he escaped by mere seconds when the Khmer Rouge shut down airspace in April of '75.
Loaded everybody on board and cranked it up. The station manager there, Cambodian, I'd cornered him before and said, "You come with me." And he says, "No, Captain, my family in Phnom Penh." I didn't know what the future was going to hold for them. Later, I found out 1.7 million of them were slaughtered in the takeover by the Khmer Rouge. And I often think I should have forced him on the airplane, but I didn't.
There is also a sadness about Captain Hansen when recognizing recent surveys that indicate more than half of Americans do not even know what the Vietnam War was about. For as much light as he is trying to bring to the subject, the warriors still remain very much in the shadows. I'm Michelle McCormack, Local 5 News.
Thank you, Michelle. Well, today Hansen is a docent at the EAA Museum in Oshkosh, and he travels the country to speak before groups from students to fellow veterans.